YouTube friends and family, another day has come for us to put on what I think is a fast and upcoming show, Sports Talk with Fat Larry. Wow. So what we're going to do today is go over some topics. As you can see, my number one topic today is going to be about the Houston Astros. I played baseball in college, and this is the time that I get real excited about baseball, Major League Baseball, because the playoffs, they are so pressure-packed that every pitch means something. So before we get started, though, what I want to do is one more time compliment all my friends and YouTube family that are getting the word out about my show. The views are going up, and I greatly appreciate it. So keep doing what you're doing. Let's start off the day by first hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and hit that bell so that every time a new show comes out, you'll be notified. So let's go right into it. As you guys always know that I always start with my HBCUs. What I'd like to do is do a review of the SWAC play from last week. First of all, we're going to start with the results of the game. Then we're going to go into individual honors that were issued out by the SWAC. Texas Southern beat UAPB. That's 2 conference wins for TSU for the first time in a long time. Very proud of them. I actually feel like there could have been 2 other wins if they could have just minimized their turnovers. But that's water under the bridge. I think I heard at the game last week they got like 50 some odd freshmen on the team. So they only are going to get better if they can just keep their mind straight ahead and work on correcting the errors that they make. They're going to be a formidable team to play. So TSU beat UAPB. Southern beat Alcorn. I think that was just their first time in 6 tries beating Alcorn. Then you have Alabama A&M beat Alabama State. And I think they call that the Magic City Classic, if I'm not mistaken. FAMU beat Grambling. I think FAMU is the second best team in the SWAC. And while I'm at that, let me go ahead and give you my order how I think the SWAC ranks. I got JSU, I got FAMU, and I got PV. Now, PV is undefeated, so you might want to know, well, why do I have FAMU here to PV? They haven't played each other, but FAMU has a ferocious defense just like Jackson State does. So you got FAMU and PV right there together. And 4, I have, do I have this 4? I think I have Alcorn, the defending SWAC champions. No, they aren't the defending SWAC champions from last year because we played spring ball. Alabama A&M is the defending champion, but from the last regular season, Alcorn is the defending champion. So we have Alcorn, we have Alabama A&M, we have Grambling, we have Alabama State, we have Mississippi Valley, and then we have TSU. But I'm happy about where TSU is. They're still the lower rim of the SWAC, but you can see the improvement. And now let's go to the honors given out by the SWAC office this week. We have a gentleman right here in Houston, Texas. As I've been saying, if you've been watching this podcast from day one, when football season started, I was gun-ho about this young man because, and this is without even seeing him, just because of what he had accomplished in high school. Andrew Body. And I knew right then, just from looking at the numbers, that we had something special. And yeah, he's inconsistent in that, but that's what freshmen are. They're inconsistent. And so what we need to do though is just ride with him, because all he is going to do as I'm repeating myself again, is get better. That's all this young man is going to do is get better. And so Andrew Body, for about the third time, was named Offensive Player of the Week in the SWAC. Now, let me kind of digress and tell you why that's important, because the SWAC has their returning MVP, which is a quarterback from Alabama A&M. And this guy has outdoed him in a sense of being named Offensive Player more times than him. So the sky's the limit for Andrew Body. So this is 121 yards on the ground, 271 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 1 running. You can't help but be excited. Southern beat Alcorn. They had a young man named Ray Anderson that's Defensive Player of the Week. 11 tackles, a fumble recovery, sacks. And it bodes well in that Alcorn is one of those games I felt like if we didn't have the mistakes, we could have won that. Just like Southern beat Alcorn and we beat Southern, I think we could have beat Alcorn. But one more time, it's water under the bridge. We're going to tack that up to a learning experience. And if Alcorn is the same way next year, TSU is beating them because I'm hoping the mistakes are removed. Then we have specialist of the week for the SWAC was Luke Jackson out of Southern University, kicked a game-winning 47-yard field goal to beat Alcorn. And newcomer of the week is Shador Sanders, Coach Prime's son. I think this is about his second or third time being named or given an award in the SWAC. So we got 2 young freshman quarterbacks that are dueling it out. Everyone knows about Prime's son, but everyone is beginning to learn about Andrew Body. So we have Alabama A&M beat Alabama State, and once again, FAMU beat Grambling. Now let me give you a rundown on the games for this week because I always try to push, go out and support your HBCU school. I was listening to Eddie George last week. This show is being taped on a Tuesday, and we run it on a Friday. But I was listening to Eddie George last week, and he was talking about how he's disappointed in Tennessee State's attendance at their games. And Tennessee State is one of the major players in HBCU college football. Been doing it for a long time. And they have history from way back in the day. Ed Too Tall Jones. So he was a little disappointed. And his point is the kids are playing hard and it just helps them when they run out on the field and see people up in the stands. And I feel the same way about TSU. Yes, we don't have the winning record, but you still have to support your school. And this is why I'm giving you the schedules, because I want everyone, all of my YouTube family and friends that's listening to this podcast, to go out and try to support. Because once again, I have people that's not just here in Houston that's listening to me. I have people in Louisiana, Pennsylvania, Mississippi that's listening to me, friends. So TSU versus JSU in Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson has had no problem with getting people to their game because Coach Prime knows how to work the social media. And I'm one more time digressing, going back to stuff I've already talked about, but I love Coach Prime. He understands the position that we are in. When I say we HBCUs are in, and he's on social media. And once again, don't get mad, don't hate Coach Prime. Just get out and try to work your magic to get things together for your school like he is for Jackson State. I think Jackson State had over 60,000 people at their last home game, which was their homecoming. So it can be done. And you got Mississippi Valley's versus Alabama A&M in Huntsville, Alabama. You got Alcorn is versus Bethune-Cookman in Daytona Beach. And one more time, as I always say, if there is a trip I want to go on, it's going to go when we play Bethune-Cookman to go to the beach in Daytona. You got Orlando about an hour and a half away. So a wonderful trip to go see a football game in Daytona Beach. You got Grambling is going to be playing UAPB in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Should be a good game. You got Alabama State going to play Prairie View. That is, I know it's going to be a good game because it's PV's homecoming. And I want the listening audience to know that even when PV's down years at homecoming, you cannot get to the campus if you can go 2 hours in advance. So you can just imagine that Prairie View and Alabama State are going to have a nice crowd. FAMU plays Southern. And this is my game of the week. FAMU playing Southern because you got two schools that have history from back in the day. FAMU has a great defense. Southern generally plays good defense. They just beat Alcorn, so they're riding high. So this should be a pretty good game. So if you're out and about in Baton Rouge area, go see it. Okay? Just a little quick capsule on the MEAC. Just a little quick capsule on the MEAC. The MEAC, Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, is where South Carolina State University is, Norfolk State is, Delaware State, North Carolina Central, Howard University, and Morgan State. They have two other schools that don't play football, Coppin State and Maryland Eastern Shore, and they lost two members, Hampton and North Carolina A&T, to a FCS league, the South League. But the MEAC is going to bounce back. They're going to bounce back. I just wanted to just let people know that, I talk a lot about the SWAC, but I understand there are other HBCU conferences out there, and I think the second best, or if not tied with the SWAC, the MEAC is one of those. You got South Carolina State's 3-0, Norfolk State is 2-0, Delaware State is 1-1, North Carolina Central is 1-1, Howard is 1-2, and Morgan State is 0-4. Norfolk State, before I get away, has Dawson Odom, the past coach of Southern University, and he has them at 2-0. Real good coach. I didn't understand why he and Southern couldn't come to a meeting of the minds, but, they did what they wanted to do, Southern, and he moved on. Take a break right here. Hit that subscribe button, that share button, and that like button. And hit that bell for me. Let's go on. Let's talk about the Houston Astros. That's what this is all about today. I be tooting my horn for the Houston teams. I know you're out there saying, man, that guy's such a homer. But I am. One more time. I played baseball, and this is the time that baseball gets good and serious. The Astros were down 3-1. The show is taped on a Tuesday. So Sunday, the Astros won to make it to 3-2. Tonight here in Houston, they play Game 6. And I'm telling you right now, you heard it from me first, that if we win Game 6, it's a wrap. We're going to win 7. There's no way we're going to let Atlanta out of here alive for Game 7. If we win Game 6. Now, that's a big if because Atlanta wants to win too. But what I'm hoping for, if the hitting can just pick up, because we could have won 2 of the games in Atlanta. 11 base runners, you can't leave 11 base runners and lose by a run. Just one hit wins the game. 2 hits, it's a runaway. Because we had the bases loaded a couple times, and with just one hit is 2 runs. The other hit and the next inning with the base loaded is 2 more runs, that's 4. And we only lost by 1. So I feel like if the hitting can just find its groove in Minute Maid Arena, Minute Maid Ballpark, because I'm getting ready to talk about basketball and I just threw that in. But no, it's Minute Maid Park, which is the baseball park. I feel like coming from 3-1, that I was reading the statistics on it, and the statistics said that like roughly 19% have only done it. So, but I still feel like the Astros can be in that number. They can do it. I just really feel like Carrera, Altuve, Brantley, Alvarez, Yuli, Tucker, Bergman, and Maldonado, we have still not gone off yet in the World Series. We went off against Boston in the ALCS, but we have not gone off. We still, if this can be the game where we go off, when I say go off, the hits and the home runs, it's going to be demoralizing for Atlanta. One more time. It's not guaranteed, but I am going to guarantee one more time that if they can win tonight, Tuesday night, Game 6, we will win Game 7. Pitching, we still have Luis Garcia. Didn't show well in Atlanta. He didn't show well in Boston. But when he got home, he put on a show. So I'm hoping he does the same thing tonight. I'm hoping that home field can be the determining factor in this. So, talk about the Texans, another home team. I'm going to give the Texans 30 seconds. I'm cracking up my production crew because it's, why you don't just give the Texans 30 seconds? That's all they deserve is 30 seconds. They are an expansion team. And don't get me wrong, I'm hoping the best for the Texans, but there's no need in wishing the impossible. And that's exactly what this is. They got a young quarterback that he's trying to find his way. They got a coach that I feel like they set up, Coach Gully. They set him up for failure by saying that we're getting the right players in and we're going to do more than just show up because we're having all these changes. But he won a game. That's the best scenario, I think, for the Texans is to win. They won one game. They play the Jaguars again. Now, I don't know if they're going to win that game or not, but they could possibly win too. But they're nothing more than an expansion team. And Deshaun Watson, as much as I love Deshaun Watson, I think it's time for the Texans to move on and Deshaun to move on. But Miami wants him, but the owner says that, hey, until he gets this court stuff out of the way, we don't want to give you all of these draft choices, and he comes here and next thing we know he's in court for a year. We still didn't get to use him. So, I'm not upset with Miami. So Miami is not delaying the trade. They just want him to go ahead and get it done. And he has said that he does not want to get it done that way, which is to just pay off these women, which will be like an admit to the crime. And he doesn't want to do that. So there's the Texans minute. I'm done with them. Mikey Williams. I'm going to talk a little bit about basketball now. Mikey Williams, a high school star in California, just signed a contract with Puma. So you can see how that new contract that came out where underage and college students can make money. You can see how it's working now. And also, let me say this, Mikey Williams, like I said, let me make sure you hear me. Mikey Williams, the number one recruit for next year, has 2 HBCU schools on his list out of 10. We talked about this when I first started. And that was Hampton University and Texas Southern University. And let me tell you people that even if he doesn't go to Hampton or come to TSU, I just appreciate him putting our names in his mouth and getting it publicized against Duke, Kentucky, Michigan State, UCLA. He put us in that group with them. That is tremendous. So I appreciate that about Mikey Williams. Also, Deion Sanders' son, Zaire, signed a G League contract with the Utah Jazz. Now, there's some haters out there that are saying he's only able to sign that contract because of his dad, which D. Wade about a month ago bought interest into the Utah Jazz. But I beg to differ. I think Zaire is going to be a good player. He may not be in the NBA next year, but the simple fact that his dad got him in, he's getting paid, and he can hone his skills against other professional athletes. So I see nothing but good things coming from that. A few other kids, Master P, who I love, because Master P is always dropping knowledge. Has nothing to do with sports right now, but Master P is always dropping knowledge. I just love him for that. And his son signed a contract, and he's going to Tennessee State. And his other son, Hersey. Now, Hersey is going to Tennessee State. Mercy has already said committed to come to University of Houston. He's just a junior, and he's committing to come to University of Houston. So I think great things are going to happen for these kids if they get the right leadership on directing them with their future. Let's go to the NFL. Let me give you the top 4 teams, my top 4 choices right quick. We got Tampa Bay in the NFC. We got Dallas. We got the Cardinals. And we got Green Bay. Now, I have another team to put with that, the Los Angeles Rams / the Cardinals in the West. I think the Rams are finding themselves now. In the AFC, you got the Titans, Las Vegas Raiders, you got Buffalo Bills, and you got the Ravens, who I'd like to throw in there. So I'm thinking that you didn't hear me say anything about the Chiefs, because the Chiefs, even though they won this past Sunday, or actually they played last night, Monday night, but they didn't look good doing it. I don't know what the problem is, but hey, they didn't look good doing it, so I still think they're going to be in a tailspin. You go to high school, and I want to do this. I had a friend that told me, said, hey man, you haven't spoke about the high schools. So I'm going to give you the top divisions and their rankings. I'm not going to go all the way from 6A to 1A, 6A to 4A, okay? And I'm going to kind of highlight the schools in Houston. These are state rankings, not city rankings. So all of you people that are out of state, out of town that are watching, your school may be on this list. Austin Westlake, 6A, number 1, Katy, right out of Houston. Number 2, South Lake Carroll, Dallas area. Number 3, Duncanville, 7-1, Dallas area. Rockwall Heat, 8-1, Dallas Fort Worth area. Spring Westfield, right out of here, 9-0. Spring has a good team. Galena Park, right out of Houston. Galena Park, let me finish that. North Shore, 9-1. Lake Travis, 8-1, Austin area. Spring Lions, Houston school, 8-1. And Denton Geyer, 9-1. So you have Spring, Galena Park, Westfield, Katy. You got 4 schools in the Houston area. You got 3 schools in the Dallas area. The game of the week for me, though, is Austin Westlake is playing Lake Travis. That's going to be a great game. Then you have 5A, Denton Ryan, number 1, College Station, 9-0. Highland Park, every year perennial. Then you got Frisco, Lone Star, 8-1. Amarillo, Tascola, 8-1. Colbyville, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, 8-1. Dripping Springs, 9-0, Dallas-Fort Worth area. And we got Manville, right out of Houston, 7-2. Katy Paytal, and Magnolia West, right out of Houston. So we got 3 to 4 schools in Houston, the 5A Division I bracket. Division II bracket, you got Aledo Perennial. You got Lovejoy, Dallas-Fort Worth area, 9-0. You got Fort Bend Marshall, right out of Houston, 9-0. Ennis, 9-0. Lubbock Cooper, 8-1. Dallas South Oak Cliff, 8-1. Texarkana, 8-0. Montgomery, right out of the Houston area, 9-0. And you got San Antonio Alamo, 9-0. And you got Crosby, right out of the Houston area, 7-2. We're going to go 4A and we're done. 4A, you got Austin LBJ, 9-0. Stephenville, 9-0. El Campo, Melissa, Argyle, Perennial. Kilgore, 8-1. Wichita Falls, 7-2. Corpus Christi Callahan, 8-1. Waco La Vega, 6-3, my hometown. Then you have Carthage, 8-0. Gilmore, 8-1. Salina, 7-1. West Orange Stark, 7-1. China Springs, 9-0. Waco area. Bellevue, 9-0. Cuero, 8-1. Sinton, 8-1. Wimberley, 7-2. And Van, 9-0. Let me go back right here on this 4A right quick. Waco La Vega is ranked 6-3, and they're still ranked because Waco La Vega is 4A, and they play nothing but 5A and 6A preseason. So right now they finding their footage against 4A teams. So their losses are against 5A schools. Well, they do have one against Stephenville. Take a break right here. Hit that subscribe button, that share button, and that like button. And hit that bell for me. Then you got NCAA. Before I close out, University of Houston had a big win Saturday. They beat SMU. So this puts them in first place. And they won't have to play Cincinnati, that is ranked number 3 in the country. But it does real well that the Cougars beat SMU. And what we want the listening audience to do now is continue to go out and patronize the high school teams, definitely the independent school districts out of Dallas ISD, HISD, Austin ISD, because the inner city schools, they don't have what most of the suburban schools have. You know, I go to HISD school games and it's kind of bad, but you know, that's okay. The kids are still playing ball, which is what they love to do. But it's just like Eddie George said about Tennessee State. I would like to see more of the family members support the urban schools. And speaking of support, just a moment. We had a nice, after only my first time of publicizing, we had t-shirts available. We have a lot of people that are calling in to make their orders. These are the t-shirts that are being made available to the listening audience. They're $25, $6 handling charge. Go to my email, fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. fatlarrypodcast@gmail.com. Give me your information, name, size, address, and we will set it up for you to receive one of these t-shirts. Now, I have them in gray, as you saw, maroon, black, white, and blue. Here's the maroon one. Sports Talk with Fat Larry. Wow. So I would greatly appreciate it if you guys would show some consideration and possibly purchasing one so we can get the name out. It's moving fantastic now, but I think it'd do a little bit better. So I really appreciate everyone tuning in and listening. I want to send out nothing but peace, love, and blessings to my listening audience. And I cannot thank you enough for listening and passing the word on about Sports Talk with Fat Larry. And if you do nothing else, if you're in an area where HBCU game is being played, please go out and support the school. They need it. Once again, peace out.